back to History Snapshots, and over the last few classes we've been talking a lot about Otzi the Iceman and some of the mistakes that were made during his excavation. We've been practicing close reading strategies, and finally we have been going over the different parts of a paragraph. And the reason we've been doing all this, as I mentioned in class, is because we're about to begin a writing assignment about Otzi and how he may have died. But in order to do that, we need to go over the steps of the writing process. And the first and one of the most important steps of the writing process is brainstorming. So that is the subject of this video, brainstorming. So make sure by the end of the video you can answer the question, how do we brainstorm and why is it important? In addition to answering that question, make sure that you, number 1, define all highlighted terms, number 2, answer the questions below, and number 3, write down something that confused you so you can bring it up in class tomorrow. Good luck. Okay, so a good place to start is what is brainstorming? And brainstorming is the first part of the writing process where you create and collect ideas to answer the question you've been assigned. So this is the very first part of writing, and it's really important to remember that this part is very informal, meaning you shouldn't be overly concerned about spelling or how neat your handwriting looks, or even, quite frankly, how good your ideas are. At this part of the process, you want to get all your ideas that are related to your topic on paper. So that's what brainstorming is. Make sure you write down the definition to that term because it's one of your highlighted yellow words. Alright, so now that you know what brainstorming is, it's important to answer the question, why do we brainstorm in the first place? So we brainstorm because, number 1, it focuses our writing. Alright, it also, number 2, keeps us on task. Number 3, it improves the structure of our writing. And number 4, it prevents repetition. That one's really important. Sometimes I've noticed in your writing, and it's very normal that you just keep saying the same things over and over again because you run out of ideas. If you brainstorm well, that'll prevent that repetition that I'm seeing a lot of. All right, and then number 5, it prevents writer's block. All right, that's we all can relate to that, right? Where you're writing and you just don't know what to say and you feel stuck. Well, if you do a good job brainstorming in the beginning, you're less likely to have that writer's block. Okay, so that's why we brainstorm. Alright, now you know what brainstorming is and why we do it, so here is the last and the most important part. How do you brainstorm? Alright, so the first thing you do when you brainstorm is you write down every thought that comes to mind that relates to your topic. Alright, could be a good idea, could be a bad idea, just write it down. And then you want to also remember to record these thoughts and ideas very, very fast. Alright, you don't want to stop because you want your brain to keep moving so you can get every idea on the page. And as I mentioned earlier, you don't want to interrupt your thoughts for any reason, especially for spelling or the way your handwriting looks. Just continue to write because sometimes you may think you have a bad idea, but it turns out to be a really good one. And then finally, after you work at it and you're writing down all those ideas, eventually you're going to start slowing down because you're running out of ideas, and that is a good place to stop and then decide which idea you like the best and you could write the most about. Alright, so that's very generally speaking how you brainstorm. We'll practice this skill in class, but make sure you have the general idea down from watching this video. There you go, that concludes this episode of History Snapshots, but before you X out of this video, make sure you, number 1, defined all highlighted terms, number 2, answered the questions in the forum below, and number 3, wrote down something that confused you so you can bring it up in class tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.